Sunday, May 27th, 2018, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're looking at the visible imagery for West Virginia. We're having some thunderstorms currently. I'm right here in Western Maryland. And you can see a couple lightning strikes. These little dots popping up are lightning strikes. Right there at the end, I just heard a big roar of thunder. And then, of course, all over top of this, you see the filth from the planes. We'll jump over to photos. Here is from, well, probably about a half hour ago. You can see this plasma crap from the planes, the frequency waves getting activated, and then boom, here's right where it started raining. Okay, now we're going to go. Here was from over Oklahoma. This is the 24th of May. Sprites, and it was intense storms there. Here's yesterday there was major interference in the center of the country, showing up on the NextRad images. And here's a time lapse I made of well, it looks to be natural, but you know, it's hard to tell anymore. Now, I want to make these videos short and sweet. Okay, if you want to learn about weather modification, here I'm at weathermodificationhistory.com. Here's 10 ways to modify the weather. You have ionosphere heaters, sounding rockets, satellites, lasers, cloud seeding, cloud ionizers, stratospheric aerosol injections, ship treks, contrail-induced cirrus, and water vapor pollution. And they're all labeled here. And there's a timeline on here. You can go back and, you know, this is a good start. Now, Mr. Jim Lee, we're over here at YouTube. Now, he gets into detail. He makes longer videos of all of this. If you want to learn, you know, what's going on, he's, I'd say, one of the best. Okay? And you have Weather War 101. I'd recommend him. One Pacific Redwood, I would recommend him. He does what I would like to kind of do, is show the weather as it is. And then you have Dutch Sense. He has a playlist over here. I would recommend watching it. Dutch Sense videos on weather modification. Okay, now did I say I agree with all these people 100%? No. But, you know, these are the four main on YouTube I would suggest going through pretty deeply. And then over on Facebook, here's a fella. If you're on Facebook, I'd look into him, Pete Ramon. He's a little more, let's say, ahead of the curve, advanced. What else? Who else? Ilana Freeland. Okay, I bought this book. I would recommend getting this book. It's very good. Under an Ionized Sky. From Chemtrails to Space Fence Lockdown. And here's her first book. I would recommend it to Chemtrails HARP and the Full Spectrum Dominance of Planet Earth. Move on here. So we got through all there. Here we'll take a look at lower level water vapor imagery for the northern hemisphere. And we have, I believe it's a tropical storm now. Maybe not. It was subtropical, but here you can see them gouging high pressure in there, splitting this system in half. Okay, so right here where the vortexes of it will be heading, it's taking a left hook right now. Sally, heading for you. And then all this up here, this electric fence here splitting this blob up. You see they spray over it all here, right? And then it comes out the other end like you squeeze a hose. And then they don't want this moisture combining with this moisture, so they have an electric fence set up here. Now if you follow one Pacific Redwood, he would say that this is a satellite creating this zone of high pressure, or, and then you see this vapor just hits it like a wall and splits in half. And then it's going to wind down here. They'll probably get severe weather here in the Midwest from this, all this clusterfuck of, yeah. But anyways, take a closer look. Here is the clean long wave infrared imagery. Here we can see the water vapor depth. Like, this is pretty severe system here. And you can see them peeling this side away. Here's a closer look at that. I like this lower level water vapor imagery, because you can see the planes real good in it too. That's actually one of its features. It says clarity to jet streaks. And you can see this square feature just shoving right up in the center here. Closer look right there at the end, you can see a square right in the center of that. Right there. Okay, we'll move on. Here's a little closer look. Look at this underneath here. I wonder what that is. Some kind of plasma bomb, I guess. Now, some of these aren't jet streaks. You see how these overshoots, these thunderstorms, they kind of leave jet trail-like, yeah, trails. And you can see Alberto cooking right here, right where the vortex would be, where they're shoving in this high pressure. Most likely from, I don't know, there could be something on helping, like an X-band radar. That would be usually on a barge. Here's down near Cuba. And here's out in front of Alberto. And we can see lots of jet streaks here. Jet streaks, aerosols, chemtrails, contrails. Potato to me, okay? Look at this filth. Seeding. Seeding for many things. To help. They can, yeah. Depending on where they seed and what, yeah, and how they seed what they're seeding with. I mean, it's just not one thing going on here. Okay? It's just not chemtrails. It's just not cooling towers. It's all this. All of this put together. All ran on a computer, I guarantee you. Between how the planes travel in the sky, when they do steam blow-offs at power plants, when they ionize. And speaking of ionize, we'll go to the next rad imagery. Here's the past 24 hours. There's your nightly ionization cycle. And then we're getting a bunch of other interference patterns here. We'll look at the most current. Zzz. Now, what do we have there? We'll go over to Jim Lee's other site, Climate Viewer 3D or Climate Viewer. And you can look up all these electromagnetic facilities. Okay, all the red dots are next rad Doppler radars. Okay, these yellow dots are super dual auroral radar. Okay, and then the black ones are part of the space fence. Now, some of these are receivers, not transmitters. Like, here is a transmitter. Okay, that's a big old boy there. Now they've made upgrades to 12 of these. And yeah, they work on a different area of the atmosphere. Alright, we're getting there. I don't, to the end of my video. I don't want to make them real long. 10 minutes is fine. I just want to mainly cover the current weather. Alright? I'll get better at explaining what I'm seeing. But, and like I said, look up these people on YouTube. Pete Ramon over here and Alana Freeland. And I didn't mention you. These are just main sources that I use. Like, we're all good at something. And, I'm trying to be a map guy. Show you the current weather. Alright, that's my report. We'll check back in tomorrow.